Right, the November 20th, 2023 Planning and Zoning Board meeting. We do have a quorum, and I would like to remind everybody that our charge is to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of North Carolina and especially Scotland County. On the agenda tonight, we have one item, which is to present and approve or deny rezoning request for special use permit for the property which we have located on the corner of 74 at Elmore Road. The zoning has been requested by Drew Yost as the applicant for the owner of CMH Homes Incorporated. And the request is for special use permit to have a storage yard to store homes for Rebuild North Carolina project. This will be used to store homes and material for Rebuild North Carolina projects. After the project is completed, this will be converted into a hub that delivers and sets manufactured homes. We'll need power, septic, and a well and a fence. There'll be a portable office for our team to work out of. We will need storage containers on site to store material, work material for this project. These all fall within the purview of a special use permit. Do I have any discussion for or against the rezoning permit? Do I have a motion that we approve the permit as presented?
I make a motion, we approve it.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, like sign. The motion has been passed and approved to present to the county commissioners. Are there any further business to come before the board tonight?
Do we need approved minutes?
I don't even have the minutes.
My printer messed up.
I emailed everybody the,
Yeah, and
I
printed.
didn't get it.
he said he didn't either. I didn't get it right. He said, "Oh,
Okay.
I read them earlier. I'm good.
Now let's take,
Well, if you got a copy, I'll go and look at one. My copy machine kind of ate my phone storage.
So John, you did get the email
Mm-hmm.
and you did not, Daniel?
I did
You
not.
did
I
not?
didn't. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting. Do I have a second?
I say,
All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Now, do we have any further business to be presented before the board tonight?
What, you mentioned a special,
Yeah, I do want to ask, do we need to have any special committees? Well, how do you guys feel about, do we need to do additional research beyond what is available to us in the documents that were presented for the solar farms, from both them and the documentation that Brooke had for us? Is there more research we need to do before we have our December 13th meeting that can be done in special committees, which do not have to be a publicized meeting? We can do that off-site. Or do we feel comfortable enough just to have discussions at our next meeting and vote? And if we need to have special meetings, what would be the topics that we need to meet about, to study and discuss?
I feel like we need to. And the reason for Because of all the issues that were brought up, I think we need to look into them and, make sure we cross our T's and dot our I's.
Okay?
But
So
is that something, I mean, like, is that something, I understand that, is that something that we would, I guess based on the ordinances and our ordinances, and being able to approve or deny the recommendation to go to the Board of Commissioners, would that be something that we would do or the commissioners would do based upon them approving the project? Would we just look at it from my standpoint, from the zoning and ordinance point? I mean, I understand with the special meeting, but I'm saying, will we look at it from that point? Or would we, when we say special meeting, because we can look at our ordinances, and if they present what they're gonna do, and it qualifies to be passed based upon our ordinances, so would the county commissioners be tasked to look at that further and say,
We just give them our suggestion as a board, but I guess if we have a special committee to do the research, then I don't know how big, who the committee's gonna be, and then we come back to the meeting and go over all that we looked into and discuss what we think more or less. And because of the, what they're applying for, it does give us a little flexibility, and if we feel like there's a greater need than what the ordinance is. Is it special or?
Special use.
Just special use, so. And,
Don't say conditional use.
the special use. So, and I, we'll see what the public says too,
Yeah, we have the option of putting additional limitations
right,
on them.
we have the option, or we can suggest to the commissioners to put those limitations?
Yes.
Yeah.
That can be
Because the
presented.
commissioners don't have to go with the limitations we set.
we just have to propose it to them, this is
Right.
our recommendations, and then they get to choose whether they want to accept it or do something different or
Right.
look forward, look further into it or however, so.
Which that may be what a committee could look at, is take our ordinances and take new maps, which, Brooke, have you heard anything from Cypress Creek about getting the board new maps with the new buffers? You know, they had the big maps the other day, but the maps that we had in the notebooks they gave us, well, first place, I think they're too small to look at.
Mike Storch said that he was gonna get them for me, and I even talked with the permitting department about being able to put the maps up here on this screen. If we just plug it into either my computer, if he sends them to me, or his laptop, Mike Storch with Cypress, so that we can see them up there.
Yeah, I'd love to have it where it could be
But I don't have an updated map right now from him.
if he could do a JPEG or something like that, that you could email to all of us.
Okay,
I'd love to be able to look at it on my computer.
okay.
Zoom in.
And if he can get us a printed one that's larger, like 2 or 3 times larger of both sites, each site, something that we can really get a perspective, because for me personally, that 8.5 by 14, I just couldn't see enough on it to see really what was going on. And I've got a couple other questions. So I would like anybody that wants to sit down and have a question and answer committee for our information. And would you like to be on that?
Sure.
Would you like to be on that? Mr. Cleo, you want to be on another committee? Okay, I want him to ask that question.
What about the members that are missing tonight?
We'll poll them as well.
Okay. So we don't have to sit here and say the committee is not in full. Okay.
Right.
So we will name that committee on the 13th.
We are naming that committee tonight with Daniel and John and myself, with the other members of the board to be polled and to determine if they would like to also be on the committee.
Now, we're gonna try to
Yeah.
have our research done prior to the next meeting, or,
I think we need to at least have one sit down with the ordinances, with the state, looking up all the legislated documentation on solar. Bring up any questions we have about wildlife, clearing the land, who's responsible for what, to make sure that environmental, all that stuff is taken in place. And like you said, a lot of that stuff may be stuff that is not valid and relevant for what we do. But if we have questions, we need to get them answered. So if nothing else, at least we can get our questions put in front of us at a meeting. And we will get
So
together.
basically, so we're gonna have, this committee is gonna be scheduled to meet before the 13th, right?
Yes. Hopefully, well, why don't we talk about that afterwards and see what everybody's schedule is, because I don't think we have time to do that right now.
Right. And you have to look at those that may want to be a part, you gotta check with them as well.
Mhm.
yeah.
'Cause
So,
the
the
13th
first meeting date, scheduled meeting date is to be assigned. Or to be determined, put it that way. What else, gentlemen?
Nothing I can think of.
Have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
I second.
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 All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. I hear no. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, gentlemen and lady.
Yeah.
I assume we are gentlemen.